know I'm running very late. Yeah, I'm running very late, but then I thought to show up here and bring this thought process that just occurred to me during the day, of how, yeah, I know I've jumped into it like that because, yeah, I noticed I'm like somewhat 20 minutes late. Wow. Well, I thought I would actually start at 18 and finish at 18:30 because I'm planning to not be here for too long. Yeah. So, okay, let me draw this closer to me. I feel like it's far. Right. Right. So, how have you been? I'm backtracking a bit there. I have been, well, just exhausted, tired in a manner because, yeah, these past 2 weeks I've been traveling quite a lot. Quite a lot. So, the topic says of healing and perceptions. So where did that come from? Praise. We are getting to that. Over this weekend, even up to today, I have been challenged in this line of thought that has brought me to this topic I've brought today of how we need to get to a place where we get healing for our perception, how we process our thought processes, really. So where am I coming from? It comes from a thought that, like I said, occurred to me, how sometimes we hold on to lines of thought that are unhealthy for us, but because we are so used to them, we hold on to that. We decide this is what I know, so that it should mean that, okay, let me try and rewind on that. I'm saying some things that we hold on to, thoughts could be not so good for us, but we hold on to them because we think, because it's all we know, it must be what is good for us. Yeah. So I put that as an intro because I'm going to be challenging quite a number of our, perceptions based on the ones I've held on to for a long time, because quite a number were challenged this weekend, Like for this weekend, I'll just, highlight it, like the thought of rebuke being, me taking rebuke as a rejection, I almost exited a certain space because of that, but then I thank God for the grace of God over my life, because He is quick to rescue me when I'm all in my feelings and I'm all in the, what do I call it, when the praise that says to hell with everything, I can do it all on my own, when she becomes activated, and she does quite a lot, I'm quick to get a pulling back. That's how I'll call it. It's a pulling back for me that really helps me to stay put, when really in my own thoughts, in my own mind, I would have just decided, nah, I'm better off just shutting this whole space out like that. It's just a preview. We'll talk about that probably in the coming weeks. The one that I really need for us to address tonight, the one that I will just put as on the introductory part, is how we seek out the things that help us maintain our comfort zones. How it's a leaning towards what we are used to, the stuff that causes us to have crutches in our life. Crutches that may become perpetual if we are not careful or are not aware that we are actually subconsciously seeking those things that just are comfortable for us. What we've always known my example for tonight is how I've been used to having, you know, the male figures. There are more of my anchors in my life than the ladies. And this stems from the fact that I had my father around. The 12 years he was there, he passed on in my 13th year. The year I was to turn 13, so I'll just say he was there for a full 12 years. But his presence for me was so effective that up to today, you will not find me posting any other father on Father's Day. My father has been, we buried him some 20-something years. That's 2 decades plus ago. But on Father's Day, like I'm saying, you will not find me post another father to say Happy Father's Day. But if you check on Mother's Day, yeah, those who have my WhatsApp, you'll find that I have seven other women who have. I don't just post them for the sake of it. It's because they've actually worked so hard to build me up. And then the 8th becomes my mother. Like, last but not least, save the best for last. And why do I do that? I do that because I didn't grow up with my mother present, you know, like she was not in my space, you know, in my formative years. She left when I was 3, you know. So for me, that has been the void that I've experienced in my own life, you know. So when I'm talking about how we may unconsciously, subconsciously seek out our comfort, our sources of comfort, instead of the things that make us grow. In my example, like the one I've used today, it could be me just seeking out, you know, more fathers. Because they are the ones I'm used to, yes? You know? Like, what do I mean? Yeah, I'm trying to, because this is a thought that's just too fresh, because it's been barely 2 hours I was in a talk with someone. Like, it sort of shifted into that direction. That's what brought me to this topic tonight. It was how I could have chosen to just have, you know, more father figures. Why? Because that's who I'm used to. I'm used to having fathers. I'm more comfortable talking to the men. Actually, I am more comfortable talking to the men. Yeah, my best friend is male, yeah? Okay, he no longer holds the title best friend anyway. He's a brother now, because, yeah, it's been too long. You cannot continue calling someone a friend in 18 years, yes? But then you must not think him being best friend is us, you know, bestie. I don't even know what that looks like. Some actually think you're always online, chatting and what. For me and my brother, the one I call my best friend, we can go for 6 months, or even 11, or even the whole year without talking, but I'll know he's there. Like that. That's how we relate with him. You know, the one who is all my files, the one who I can just appear. I was actually laughing just before this live. I was checking, like, when was the last time I talked to Tate? It's like in June. That's the last time I actually texted him or even called. I know sometimes I just appear at his workplace like, hi, what, but it has been since June. That's like 4 months ago, yes. And the other WhatsApp I saw, it was actually January. It's even worse. So for me, this best friendship, it's not the, you know, the flowery, the way people describe it, like, hey, they're always together, they're always what-watching. That's not my thing. But it's just one. What I have done to get out of, you know, being comfortable only being around the men. Over the years, I've been deliberate, just opening my heart, I will say, up to women of God, you know, elderly women who have showed up. God has allowed me to just join, you know, paths to cross with these women who have taken it up to themselves to mother me, you know. And I don't want to lie, I've been a difficult child like that. I remember in one of these videos I was describing how with Mama Rose, the first woman who adopted me as her daughter, she worked hard to just follow me up because I'll just disappear. I don't know how to relate with ladies. And I know in years past I used to actually say it out loud like, women are difficult, I don't understand women. And guess who's saying that? It's a fellow woman. But then that damage came about all because I didn't grow up with a man. So after my experience with Mama Rose Natsa, she's still around in my life, you know. It was 2012 and now she's no longer so much in the fore of my life. You hardly ever, you know, see me tagging her, or but she's there. This past weekend, or just ended weekend, she was coming to Kariba. She told me 2 weeks ago, my baby, I'll be in Kariba. And I was like, I may not be there, but I'll let you know. When I was in Lusaka, she texted me, are you around? We are here. I'm like, oh yeah, I managed to travel like I told you. She's still there like that. Now, the reason I'm bringing her up and the rest of this mother's story is to bring out how you can actually walk away from the comfortable that you know for the sake of your growth, you know. There's a healing, I will call the one that I'm saying of healing and perceptions. It's actually supposed to be healing of perceptions, because there are things that we have, you know, held on to for so long. Like I'm saying, I grew up with my father. I could have just chosen to just have more fathers in my life, because what? They are the ones I'm comfortable having around. I'm not so comfortable around the women. But because I have, you know, noticed that, how I relate with women, I had this attitude, you know, a ready to clash attitude towards women. To be entirely honest, I would have this I would have prepared myself ahead of time to fight with any woman who comes in my space, you know, to mother me. To me, any woman who came was out to control me, to want to show that they are so important. You see my face even changing right now, because that's how I used to be. I used to just think women are terrible creatures and I really don't need to have them in my space. But because I then noticed, no, this is an unhealthy kind of, you know, mindset. Yeah, I have too much testosterone in my system, you know. So I knew I really needed to dilute that with having more estrogen, you know, the women's hormones. I needed to deliberately seek out women to just mother me like that, you know. It had to be deliberate, because if I had decided to surround myself with more fathers, that would mean I would never learn what it is to actually learn to care. Yeah, last week I remember I mentioned that I'm learning to care. You know, to have that nurturing heart that says, oh my goodness, come here, let me hug you. Oh, what are you feeling? For me, I'm laughing because every time I would look at that, you know, women crying and hugging each other, I would be like, oh my goodness, can't they get over this? You know, like, can't they get over it already? Like that. I used to be like that. But because I was deliberate seeking out mothers, I have grown to, I'm learning. Yeah, I'm not there yet, but I'm learning to be more compassionate, more nurturing, more, you know, comforting. I no longer come at you with facts as I used to, because for me, logic was just the way around things. You don't have to be all mushy and, you know, emotional about it, and all you need is to just face the facts. What is here? This is what we have, and what are we going to do about it? We seek out the solutions, we just handle things and we get over it. That's just who I was all along. And I've been deliberate. I told you I have 7. They are the ones, these women who I've allowed to speak into my life, whether like in person or remotely. I have deliberately decided to just sit myself around mothers. And being around mothers is what has helped me actually accept the true value of having mothers in life, you know. And it has helped improve my relationship with my own mother. You see, so it matters how you decide you are healing. In your quest to so-called heal, are you truly opening yourself up to different thought processes than you're used to? Or you're actually seeking those that are actually support your disability in a manner? Are you seeking out groups of people who nurture your not so healthy mindset? What are you doing to truly grow? This is the message I'm going to be talking about in this season. When I'm talking about mindset, a healing of mindsets, I put it as of healing and mindset perceptions, but it's really a call to seeking true healing for thought patterns that have crippled our lives. Is praise still choosing to have more fathers because our fathers understand better, or the men are more trustworthy? You know, I trust men more with my secrets than with the ladies. I'm very comfortable to just seek out a guy and just tell them, oh my guy, this is what has happened, 1, 2, 3. But I'm actually working hard to tell myself, to teach myself that you can really trust a fellow lady with your you see, I couldn't even finish that sentence. You know, I've been deliberate about that. So this intro is to provoke our thoughts. How are we healing? Or are we even healing in the first place? Because, you know, when you seek out your usual comfortable places, that's not healing. You will claim that, oh, because they comfort me, I'm healing. But no, how will we see you have not healed? It's how you still continue to handle life matters as though you have not learned anything different from what you have always known. Like I've told you, for myself, I had a father figure who was, you know, firm in his teaching of principles, in his telling me I am made of steel, of telling me I can take on anything and anyone and win. So much that I have had trouble being soft, you know. And when I realized that, oh, this is the space, this is what I need to learn to be softer, I've deliberately sought mothers. I told you I have 7. Yes, so far there are 7 women that I can testify have taken it up to themselves to teach me, you know, to teach me life from the women's perspective, from the women's point of view. And it has helped, you know, create the balance. So it would really do me harm, more harm than good, if I was to continue to shut out the mothers and claim, oh, the fathers understand me better, so I don't really need mothers. That would mean the imbalance would increase. You see that? There's the same. I really like Dr. Tori J. Forgetting Tori J's quest, you know, to reunite children with their fathers. I keenly follow her Fatherless Generation page like that, because I've realized that there are a lot of people out there who have had so much of the mother love and nurturing and care, so much that the other part of you know, principle, like I said, of growing grit and spine is missing, you know. And yet, because they may be unaware that this is what they need to really become. They've sort of like continued to gravitate towards the mothers because that's all they know, you know. I've used fathers as my own example because I've been the opposite. I've had too much grit and spine, and now I need to add more, you know, the comfiness of flesh to it. It's something to just provoke our thoughts this night. Like when we are saying we are seeking healing, what are we looking for? Are we still looking for the same things that crippled us, that got us the traumatic experiences that we had, maybe of, like I'm saying, of myself not having a mother? Have I used that as an excuse to go back to still seeking out male best friends and fathers and more uncles and what's around my life? How have I deliberately decided to grow? May someone really think about this tonight, because we are going to be challenging these perceptions as we go in this coming weeks. I think, yeah, because there's a number of topics that actually came up when we were having this conversation. In our quest to heal, may we seek out what we truly need, not that which we lie to ourselves that this is good enough for me, and yet we know it's still not making us grow out of what we've always known. In seeking crutches for our situations, we are not growing, we are not learning, and probably we are going to carry that forward even to the next generation. But in so doing, we'll have done nothing really for ourselves. And what I've known is that what you truly heal in yourself is what you have healed for your next generation. Yeah, I think I'm done for tonight, because yeah, I have had a really long day. As I was trying to navigate this whole thing, it was all coming in piles and piles like that. It was an overload. It's a thought process that just came along. I'm like, we need to actually start to become aware of when we are saying we are healing. Are the steps we are taking really taking us to a place where we have grown, or is even causing us to be comfortable in our disability? Just like there's the story in the Bible that has just occurred to me right now that could apply to this, is how John and Peter were about to enter a church, and they find this beggar. Because he was so comfortable begging, with the bowl right there, the door of the church. When you're about to enter church, you have actually turned yourself into a righteous person. You're kinder, you are you're holier. It's highly likely that this man positioned himself right there because he knew that no one would really pass him by, because their kindness is being triggered in this moment when they're just about to enter church. It's right at the gate. So how can I not, throw in a coin or a $5 note in there, yet I'm going to pray, So their positioning really was to cushion, to make them more comfortable in their disability, you see. But I love how John and Peter actually challenged this man. They're like, us, we don't have money like you're used to, huh? But what we're going to give you is going to cause for you to not have this disability ever again. Like that. And what did they do? It said that Peter, as he was speaking to him in the name of Jesus, he was actually pulling him up. He was that impatient to have him experience true freedom that comes from not having to beg. So in our quest for healing for the trauma that we've been through, it could be sexual trauma. Today I was really zeroing in on the absence of my mom as I was growing up, because that's where I've noticed that a lot of us, we continue to seek out what we had in childhood. But in doing that, like I'm saying, I've had my brother for 18 years. But has it helped me relate better with the women? It has not. So like from 2012, when the 2012 relationship, I don't want to lie, it wasn't authored by me. I thought I was okay, not really relating, not really being too close to women. I can always like hide from afar, and not have them in my space as much. But probably that was God, because the way she pursued me to daughter me, you know. When I left Harare, she had actually left for Fiji with my dad, Pastor Natsa, Pastor Peter. In 2012 August, they moved to Fiji for missionary work. They became Zaeja pastors in Fiji. And the very next year in March, that's when I moved to Kariba, where I've been for the past 10 years. But because I've learned the benefits of actually having a mother figure in my life, I sought out God for mentors here. I was like, Lord, I'm used to parenting. I want a couple that is firm in the things of God. And yet when I was in that home, in Mama Saruzai Moshiwa's home with her husband, Dedi Moshiwa, it wasn't really Dedi Moshiwa I was looking for. It was her. It was Mama Saruzai who I was looking for. Because I had come to an awareness that I really need to grow in how I relate with the mothers in my life. That's the area where I have been having this negative attitude. That's the area where I have actually just thought I can actually do without mothers. You see, that has been deliberate steps. So for the other mothers that I'm counting, like there's this mother, you know, who she has been an anchor in this area. This one has been an anchor in this area. I've been listening to this particular mother teaching me honor. Like honor is one directional. These are the things I've been deliberately exposing myself to, because I know this is what I lack. So for those who have not had the fathers, are you deliberately seeking out a father figure? You know, firm men of God. To be entirely honest, like I was saying, my mindset was that women are just, you know, God's beautiful creations. I'll never understand. That's what I used to say. And yes, I'm a woman, but I'll still repeat that. I used to actually think women are the most difficult human beings around. Why? Because I had this difficult relationship with my own mother, you know. It was difficult. The more I tried to actually relate, the more she would bring up so much stuff from the past. I would feel so overwhelmed, and I'd be like, Lord, I'm not continuing to try this. But because, like I'm saying, I found 7 more women to just surround me, women of God who have you know, been mothers in their own home, have raised children, have, you know, developed their own homes to be nurturing, and to have this warmth of having a mother around. They are the ones who helped me actually start to relate better with my own mother. You see, because like I'm saying, this thing succeeded because I deliberately exposed myself to women. Yet my mind was telling me women cannot be trusted. You see, so it's an encouragement this night, a direct challenge to people around us, like in our healing journey. What are we seeking out? When we are seeking out these things, are they helping us to really heal from what we are saying we missed out on in our growth? Or we are actually seeking out things that make us, that more crutches, you know. You come out from the crutches, you are sitting on a wheelchair. From a wheelchair you have you know, a rolling walking frame, not just a walking frame, it's actually wheeled. So that says you never walk on your own feet ever, because your body weight is still being carried by these devices, these aids and appliances. You still carry around yourself. So this is, it was supposed to be short, just it's short enough. 30 minutes is short enough, yes. So this is the encouragement for tonight as an introduction. May we please challenge our tools, the tools we are using for healing. May we challenge those. Oh, I know for something you've been comfortable in for so long, it can actually, you can actually feel justified, like, ah, no, because my dad was so there for me. Why should I have the trouble of deliberately relating with the women? Is it really necessary? Yes, it's necessary, praise, because that testosterone that's so high an amount in your system needs a balance. The same with the children who grew up without their fathers. That estrogen needs a balance. Are you seeking godly men to mentor you? Enough said for tonight. I pray this provokes somebody to truly seek out the things that are truly helpful for their growth. Because without this, what I actually believe about healing is that we may pray and fast all we want, but if we're not deliberate, like the one I'll share with you next week, like I don't know if I'll get into full detail, but I know that what was challenged for me in this last weekend was how I've taken rebuke as rejection. And I noticed that even now I'm so perfect in carrying out my duties, be it statistics at work. You know, when I do statistics at work, my head of department audits those for corrections. You know, I may have missed a digit here and there. I remember that every time they would actually note a part where I've made a mistake. It would feel like a personal attack on me, you see. And so it came to a head over the weekend. I came to a place where I was like pounced upon both by God and men. I'll just leave it at that. So for tonight, this is the challenge I have for us. Challenge your sources of healing. The tools that you are using, are they really growing you, or they are keeping you in that state of helplessness that you should have grown out of so long ago? This is my read for tonight, and I leave it here. The one for what I'm going to talk about next weekend, I've preempted already, but we'll do that next weekend. Cheers. Next Monday, actually, not weekend. My bad.